Okay, so in a previous video we talked about balancing simple equations. I'm following basically, to some extent, a chemistry textbook called Chemistry, the Central Science. It's a lovely chemistry textbook, really nice. And in the second section of chapter 3 in that book, they just talk about some basic reactions. These reactions are common enough that you might just kind of know, have a box to put them in. So for example, there are combination reactions. This is where kind of two separate things become one. It's kind of like marriage. You have two people who become one compound, and in certain parts of the world maybe they go live on a compound. But anyway, so a combination reaction is when two elements combine to form a compound. For example, let's take the formation of magnesium oxide. You take a little magnesium and a little oxygen and you shake it all about and you end up with magnesium oxide. Actually, this is a very brilliant reaction, one of my favorite chemical reactions, because magnesium, when it oxidizes, it just goes really bright. I like it a lot. Anyway, so you take two magnesium atoms, you mix them with the oxygen molecule, and you end up with two magnesium oxide compounds. Okay, so that is a composition reaction because you're combining things. I know this is hard, but when you take two things and you combine them, that's called a combination reaction. Don't freak out. You'll be able to handle it. In a few years you'll understand that. Okay, the opposite is, of course, a decomposition reaction. A decomposition reaction is basically like a divorce. Sometimes, some of the kids go with one or the other parent. Okay, the metaphor's gone too far. But basically, many compounds do undergo decomposition, especially when heated. For example, take the decomposition of calcium carbonate into calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. So basically this little delta triangle means undergoing heating. So this is the calcium carbonate on this side, and it decomposes into calcium oxide. You see, one of the children went with the calcium. But anyway, it's not important right now. But and carbon dioxide, hopefully CO2 is carbon dioxide. That's a decomposition reaction. Combination, come together. Decomposition, break apart. A third kind of reaction that is mentioned in this section of the chapter is a combustion reaction. This is, of course, this is the one where you have quite a quick heating, think fire. Usually, of course, involves oxygen from the air. Nothing burns without oxygen. I don't know if there's an exception to that. There probably is in some strange situation. So anyway, spaceships can't catch on fire in space. Inside they can, but on the outside, you're not going to have fire on the outside of the Starship Enterprise. Anyway, so O2, oxygen from the air, is usually involved, and then carbon dioxide and water are the products of combustion reactions. So, for example, take propane. In a previous video, we had methane, CH4. Now we have propane, C3H8, which is in a gaseous form. So if you combine that with oxygen, 5-to-1 ratio, 5 oxygen molecules with 1 propane molecule, it's going to combust and form 3 carbon dioxide molecules and 4 water molecules. Yay, isn't that fun? Now, there are lots of reactions that end up in carbon dioxide and water. I had an Egg McMuffin for breakfast, for example, and it's steadily, in a step-by-step process, going to end up with quite a bit of carbon dioxide and water. I won't speculate as to how some of that might emerge into the world. But anyway, so that's a multi-step process, however. So there are other reactions that end up as carbon dioxide and water in multi-steps. We call these oxidation reactions. More on that to come. Okay, well, what a lovely little easy section. This is such a great textbook because it really breaks it down into understandable parts.